Let's talk about statistics. There are a lot of statistics and a lot of figures and a lot of just noise when it comes to YouTube. And when you're new, a lot of these statistics, they don't have enough meaningful data in them or enough statistical analysis information. They don't have enough content behind them to actually be useful for you. So let me show you a few of the items that you should be focusing on to make sure you understand what they are, because when you're young and you're small, these are the numbers that really mean something to you. And we will go over some detailed content of what they are so that you understand which ones are important. Okay, I have picked a random video here off of my solar channel for us to use as an example. This video is a greening video that I publish about every 6 months, every 3 to 6 months, because it continues to perform. So each time I produce it, it has this nice steady slope of views, and it continues to grow and grow and grow the entire time that the video is out. But it is the perfect statistical analysis to understand how things are going. So let's talk about a few things that are very, very important. The first one I want to look at is over here under reach. If we come over here under reach, you'll notice there's this item here called impression click-through rate. The impression click-through rate is one of the most important things that you can work on. And this is a combination of your thumbnail and your title, getting people to respond to it and click into your video. If they don't click on it, there's no chance of them staying and watching it because they never went there. So this is where you're going to want to focus your efforts at first, is making sure that your thumbnail and your title are of a significantly um, that your thumbnail and title get a large enough percentage here in the click-through rate. Click-through rates can vary based on different types of content and different types of channels. Some of my channels, the click-through rate can be as small as 3 and 4% and be very successful. On my solar channel, I like to see it between 6 and 10%. That is usually high for other channels, but for this channel, it happens to be. On my YouTube channel, the channel you're watching now, I can have 2 to 3% and it'd be quite high for that type of content. And it really does depend on the type of content that you have. My suggestion is that as your channel grows, you strive for 4 to 5% at first. If you see that you can easily hit 4 or 5%, change that number and watch for a little bit higher. I usually watch for this number to be at that 6 or 7%. You'll see that there are spurts here in the middle that are 12%. There'll be long patches where it's even higher than that. And then there'll be some patches where it's a little lower than that. But it's important that you understand this is for every 100 people that it sees, 6.3 of them are going to click on it. So 6% of the people click through to see this. And this is one of the most important things that you should understand about statistics. Now, let's move on to average view duration. This is the second most important thing that you can understand. Once you have them going into this click-through rate, then you're going to want to go into the engagement tab and look at this average view time from over here. This average view time is the amount of time once they click on a video, how long do they stay and watch it? Now, it will, as your channel gets more and more mature, you'll see that it puts this shaded area in the background to show you approximately where that particular video should be peaking based on its experience and based on algorithm tests, knowing this type of audience should respond like this type of audience should respond like that. As you can see here, this varies widely in the background, suggesting that the algorithm is running multiple test after test after test on your content to see if it really fits the entire the entire scenario. Where here I overperformed a little bit, and then we come down here and I may have been close to underperforming. But overall, this video continues to get hits, but you'll notice that it almost always is in the overperforming position and not down like it is here in the underperforming position. This being the current time right now, it most likely is not actually underperforming. It's just that number hasn't statistically gone up yet. So this is average view duration. Your goal for average view duration is this is when you keep people watching your video. This is about your editing. This is about the appealing of the content. This is about providing the value and arranging your video where you have that hook at the beginning, you have that content in the middle that has the what they're trying to accomplish and how to accomplish it, and then you have that satisfying end that says, here's how that you've accomplished all this. This is how you succeeded. All right. The third item that you should keep an eye on is impressions. Now, impressions is this number here under the reach tab. Impressions is basically used in conjunction with the impressions click-through rate, but impressions is the number of views that you'll see that some videos, that when they die with large number of impressions and some with low number of impressions. And it really depends on how far along in the algorithm that you got. Here we've only got 10,000 impressions after a period of how many days do we have here? After a period of 21 days, but we've got a wonderful review rate. If I go look at a different video, and let's say that I scroll down here to, let's say this one here, you'll see here this one died right about there. The impressions, if we look at it, we've got 9,000 impressions, but only 400 views. So it's very important that they burned all those impressions up. Right here, we already had 7,500 of those impressions. This video was doing fantastic at first, and then it just died. My suspicion is that we had a very decent rate here, and then you can see it went down. So what you're looking for is we were very close to underperforming in the entire time that it was considered typical for this one. Whereas on the other one, and you can see here, we were underperforming almost the entire time on average duration. So these all go hand in hand. Those number of impressions is a symptom of how this performance, the average duration performance, was doing. Now, these are the three most important ones, but the average click-through rate and the average view duration directly impacts the amount of impressions that you get, which in turn feed the higher the percentage feeds more and more people to your thing. If you focus on only those three elements, subscriptions and likes, they do contribute to it. And I don't want to discount them and say don't look at them at all. But what I am going to say is that those first three are much more important here in the early stages. You want to make sure that if you're getting that other types of subscribers and likes and secondary type signals that a video is popular, that's wonderful. But if you don't get those impressions, and without those impressions, you're not going to get the impressions if you don't have the click-through rate. And the click-through rate's not going to continue if you don't have the view time. If you don't have the view time, then you're not going to get more impressions. So those are all go hand in hand, and they're much more important than anything else. And those are the three. Forget all the other statistics. Focus on those three, and you'll start seeing some improvement. And focus on your thumbnail and your title first to get those impressions, and then focus on your retention to make sure you can keep people there. It's not necessarily about fancy editing. It's about having good, rewarding content that you can get from it. So the moral of the story here is make sure that you're appealing to them to get them to click on something. Make sure once they click on it that you're keeping them there and that you're watching them. And if that's not happening, go back and reevaluate what you're doing. Go back and look at why are they not clicking on them. And most of all, on the ones that do work, go back and figure out what is different about them and start making your other videos match them more closely and make sure that you do that. The simple fact is that there's too many metrics out there. If you focus on these three, you are going to see massive improvements in what it is, on what your channel can do, how well it performs, and you will start to see some real growth, and then you can start worrying about some of those other matrices later on as you go through the process. My name is Matt. I run 3 different channels. I use the experience from my solar channel with over 20,000 subscribers and my first video about to reach 1 million views, in conjunction with my Build Unbound channel, which is a channel about building and designing things and creating new things. and putting things up and putting things together and standard maintenance from day to day. I use those experience to help you with this channel and show you what I'm going through on those channels so that we can grow together and that we can have a better YouTube experience. I hope you like this type of content, and if you do, please like this video, or better yet, even subscribe so that you don't miss the next one, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.